There was a long journey ahead of us today as we left Punta Arenas.
Our destination was Torres del Paine National Park, an area of outstanding natural beauty with mountains, lakes and glaciers. The first leg would be a straight 3-hour drive to the small city of Puerto Natales. Situated on the sound of Ultima Esperanza, not only is it the gateway to Torres del Paine, but also the main base for voyages to Chile's fjords. We were now about halfway through our 3-week trip, and most of our group of 10 were feeling the effects of the long days of travel and concentration. We varied in age from 30 to 60, but even the youngest of us took the opportunity to catch up on some sleep. I don't know, no stamina. There was one stop, at the top of a hill in the middle of nowhere, a place visited by Michael Palin on day 159 of his full circle adventure back in 1997. There was a shrine with hundreds of plastic bottles placed around a container. This was apparently in memory of a woman who had been travelling in Patagonia, and although she perished, the child that was with her survived. It was considered a miracle, and it is believed that if you leave a bottle of water there, someone who is sick will be healed. It was an extraordinary sight.
Puerto Natales is in a stunning situation with the clear waters of the Sound and a backdrop of snowy mountains.
We shopped for souvenirs while Enrique went off to find lunch. He came back with bags of huge baps of steak and melted avocado and cheese, which we later ate by the roadside. They were very filling and very fattening, I'm sure, but they were delicious. Things were now more leisurely, with frequent stops for wildlife. There was a close Andean condor perched on a rock, guanacos passing by unconcerned by our presence, and near the reserve entrance, a Patagonian mockingbird. We left the bus by the entrance and went off to explore. There were photo opportunities around every corner, with wonderful lake and mountain views. We were headed for Grey Glacier, and along the way we saw a spectacled duck. I said in one of the earlier travelogues that many South American birds have appropriate names. I'm not sure that the spectacled duck is one of them. Whichever angle you look at the bird, it is stretching the imagination to see the white face markings as spectacles. Oh well, some you win, some you lose, I guess. Finally we came to a dead end, crossed a rickety old bridge and onto a beach where we could get close to the meltwaters of the glacial lagoon and its icebergs, and see the glacier itself stretching off into the mountains. I couldn't resist washing in the cold water and sucking glacier ice. At one point, Grey Glacier divides in two, but before that, it is almost 4 miles wide and 100 feet high. In 2017, a large iceberg more than 1,000 feet square broke free from the glacier and floated off into the lagoon. One can imagine this will become a more frequent occurrence if the planet continues to warm. We then returned to the bus and drove the last few miles along yet another bumpy track.
A rather weary bunch of travellers eventually booked into our hotel for the next 2 nights, the rather splendid Hosteria del Torres.